All right, good to see everybody. We got the whole group back. That's always fun. Go ahead, scoot forward in your chair. If you have blocks handy, maybe you want to set those up on either side of your feet. So feeling your sit bones press. As you press down into your sit bones, you're lengthening through the sides of your waist. We're going to give those shoulders a little roll out. I always start class like this because I'm a creature of habit, but I have to say, this is one of those things that feels really good. It kind of helps. And just kind of paying attention to how this is feeling in your body today. Some days it's really crunchy, some days less so. All right, let's roll forward a few times. Good, and then back. And then feel those shoulder heads press back, shoulder blades, release down your back towards your sit bones. You can take your hands on your thighs. Allow your eyelids to close if they aren't already. Smooth, full, deep inhale through your nose. And open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. Again, smooth, full, deep inhale. And let it go, ha. One more time like that. And then allow your lips to seal. Start to inhale through your nose. And also exhale through your nose. And so you start to create that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. You're bringing your attention to the sound of your breath. It becomes your soundtrack. It becomes this tool to help you focus and quiet the mind. And you use it to kind of like sweep out any background noise. Both the external stuff and the internal stuff, the thoughts that might be kind of churning around in your mind. Let them go. And you might have to let them go 1,000 times the next hour. So you're going to periodically check in with your breath. You're going to notice if your attention has wandered, and then you're going to smile and you're going to come back to that sound of your breath as often as you need to. All right, from here, gently blink your eyes open. Let's move into some just basic cat-cow. So as you inhale, you're gonna rock forward on your sit bones. You're finding that arch in your lumbar. And then as you exhale, you move in the opposite direction. So you roll to the backs of your sit bones, chin drops towards your chest, you're rounding in your thoracic. And then just continuing like this, find a pace with your breath that feels good for you today. You're feeling a little tired. Sometimes it can be nice to move a little faster. You're feeling a little anxious, slowing the breath down can be helpful. And just enjoy how it feels to start to connect movement with breath. So for a lot of us, this actually, it's almost easier to quiet the mind when we're moving with the breath like this, as opposed to just sitting in a pose. And just observing if that might be true for you. Maybe becoming aware of the fact that, it doesn't take very long for things to start opening up. So little movement goes a long way. A little breath goes a long way. Good. So the next time you're inhaling, just come back to your nice tall seat. We're going to just start to rock around in our hips. So doing these little hip circles. And you can make these like as big and dramatic and as with much flair as you want, or they can be really simple. Listening to your body, making choices that feel good for you right now in this moment. Beautiful. Let's start to switch directions here. Okay, start to make these circles a little smaller till you make it back to your mountain pose, your Tadasana. You can feel both of those sit bones pressing down. You can peek down at your feet. Just make sure that your knees are over your ankles here. Find that inhale through your nose and that exhale through your nose as you sit in this nice tall Tadasana. And then as we exhale, we're going to drop our chin towards our chest. So we're going to start to stretch into the back of the neck. Observe if your shoulders are trying to get involved. That might mean that you need to lift your chin a little bit, especially if the back of the neck is a little extra tight. You're carrying a little extra tension around today. Keep your chin tucked, move nice and slow, take several breaths. Start to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. And you're going to feel that stretch on the left side of your neck, those scalene muscles. Again, back out a little bit if it feels like too much, if it feels like that left shoulder is getting involved. And if you wanted to release your left fingertips down towards the floor, you can do that. That just adds a little weight to the system. It might intensify the stretch. If you go there and it doesn't feel good, just, rewind. And then maybe you start to lift that left arm a little bit. You feel some of that nervy stretch in the shoulder and the armpit, the inseam of the arm. Good. Release that arm down. You can place the hand back on your thigh. You can use your right hand, the strength of that arm, to upright your head. Beautiful. And then again, we drop our chin towards our chest. We keep the shoulders out of the ears. We do a little less if we need to. And we keep the breath moving slow and steady. And just visualizing that the breath is creating space in the back of the neck. And just combing the tangles out of those muscle fibers. Good. And then keeping your chin dropping towards your chest, moving nice and slow, taking several breaths to get there. You make that little quarter turn to the left. There might be some places that, you're definitely feeling sensation in your body. Stay there, breathe, take your time. Good, and then maybe you release your right fingertips towards the floor. That might intensify things a little bit. And then maybe you start to lift that right arm, going for that nervy sensation, that nervy stretch. Trying to keep the breath smooth and steady. Good, and then you can release that right hand down. You can take your left hand to your cheek. Use the strength of your arm to upright your head. Good. And then let's just do like a little flow here. So as you exhale, chin drops towards chest. Inhale, chin lifts. Exhale, bring your gaze out over that right shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, chin drops. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring your gaze out over your left shoulder. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, chin towards chest. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Good, inhale. Exhale, dropping down the midline. Inhaling, coming on up. Exhale, gaze comes out over that left shoulder or moves in that direction. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, chin drops towards chest. Inhale. Exhale, gaze out over that right shoulder. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, gaze out over your left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. All right, exhale, drop the chin here. Inhale, lift. And exhale, gaze out over your right shoulder. We're just gonna stay here. We're gonna take several breaths. Really try to get this left shoulder to feel heavy, to release down. Feel that stretch across the left side of your neck. And you certainly may be feeling it in other areas as well. Good, inhale back to center. And then exhale. Bring your gaze in the direction of that left shoulder and then hang out here. Continue to breathe. So you have that smooth inhale through your nose. Smooth exhale through your nose. Focus on that sound of your breath. Good, inhale back to center. Let's give the shoulders a roll out again here. Maybe after all of that neck stretching, it has helped some of that tension to release in the shoulders. Okay, so from here, let's just move into some cat-cow. So this is a good place to have your blocks set up on either side of your feet. Certainly not necessary. There are lots of ways to modify. You're pressing down into your sit bones. You're just peeking to make sure that your knees are over your ankles, arms by your sides. Inhale, you can take the arms out and up. They could also reach forward and up. From here, you can swan dive in, or you could use your hands to help you roll down the center. Inhale, this is where you might take those hands to blocks. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, you fold back in again. And then inhaling, you can kind of use your hands to help roll yourself up. You could reverse swan dive out. Arms reach up overhead. Excuse me. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. Inhaling, reaching up, Utthita Hastasana into Dasana. As you exhale, gracefully fold your way into your Uttanasana. Inhale, find that extension, Ardha Uttanasana. Very nice. As you exhale, you fold back in. And then rooting down to rise up. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. Let's do one more together, and then we'll do a few on our own. Inhaling, reaching up. Let these feet feel really good and graceful. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, extending forward. Exhale, fold back in. Good, and then rooting down to rise up. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. So 3 more of these on your own. If you would rather just do simple cat-cow, that works as well. Really focus on that sound of your breath. Enjoy the meditative quality of these half sun salutes. Beautiful work. I think that was 3. I sort of got lost in these. So just sitting in your Tadasana, maybe closing your eyes, doing a little check-in, the halfway point, just observing how your body is feeling here, observing how your breath is feeling inside your body, going on with your headspace. Hopefully it feels like things have started to settle a little more. Feel a little more present, aware. You can blink your eyes open here, release your arms down by your sides. Let's just do a little side to side flow. So as you inhale, take that left arm up and over, side bend to the right. And as you exhale, release down. Inhale, right arm up and over. And exhale. So continuing like this. Again, just picking a pace that feels good for you today. I'm just enjoying how it feels to stretch out that side body. Enjoy how it feels to have things open up. So with each one of these, you keep finding a little more space, a little more ease. Wonderful. The next time you are reaching over to the right, you're just going to hang out there. Anchor down a little more into your left sit bone. As you press there, feel this extension through the left side. And then there is a little twist. Right ribs are wrapping up towards the ceiling. You might be gazing up at that top arm. As you exhale, release. Inhale, take this right arm up and over. Root down into that right sit bone. Feel that anchoring sensation there. It's going to help you to stretch and elongate through that right side. And as you exhale, go ahead and release down. Good. Let's inhale, take the arms out and up. And then we're going to exhale, take them out wide, feeling those shoulder blades plug in towards each other. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, twist to the right. Take another inhale, reach out, get a little longer. And then as you exhale, you can release your hands down. Left hand can come to left thigh. It can come to right thigh. Check to see that your shoulders aren't creeping into your ears, and then press your shoulder heads back. So we're twisting here, but the feeling in the upper body is that of a little cobra pose or an upward facing dog. So back bending in the thoracic, the upper spine especially. You could be bringing your gaze in the direction of that right shoulder. Deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind, come back to center. Release the arms down by your sides. Inhale, take up lots of space as you reach out and up. And then exhaling, bringing the arms out in a T shape. Those shoulder blades are plugging into one another. Deep inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale. Get that giant wingspan, a little bit more giant. And then exhale. Hands release down. You're grabbing a piece of chair with that left hand. Right hand can be on right thigh or left thigh. Shoulder heads gently pressing back as your sternum lifts, and you bring your gaze in the direction of that left shoulder. Deep inhale. And exhale, unwind, come to center. So let's go ahead and move towards some of our downward dogs, and then we'll do some hip stretching and forward folding with the chair as well. So if you don't have a chair available, no big deal. You could use a table in front of you, a wall in front of you. You can also just pretend that would work. With your chair, I like to set up the back of the chair facing towards me, and then I kind of have two levels that I can play with and explore. The hardest part sometimes is just getting that distance correct, so we can certainly adjust that as necessary. Okay, so again, we're just sitting in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. This is our position number one. You're going to release your arms down by your sides. Let's inhale, take the arms out and up. And bring them like a little bit wider than shoulders distance apart. And then you're going to spin your palms to face forward. You're going to start to form muscle to bone. You're spreading your fingers. So it's already feeling as though you're pressing into something, even though that we're not. And then you're going to start to hinge forward. You're finding lots of extension for both sides of your waist. Your hands are going to eventually plant on the back of that chair or on the seat of the chair. And then you do have something to sort of work against here. So as you press down into the palms of your hands, you feel muscle firm to bone. You feel your inner arm wrapped towards your outer arm. And then you can just line your ears up with your biceps. So that inner arm, you're kind of just gazing down at your mat, the floor in front of you, an inch or two in front of your feet. And with each inhale, can you find a little more length through the sides of your waist? Good. From here, just inhale, bring your gaze forward. And then you're going to take one hand to your thigh, then the other. Use the strength of your arms to help you press back up to your Tadasana. A couple breaths here. So downward facing dogs are a form of inversion. So sometimes you can get a little lightheaded coming up. Let's go ahead and do another one here. Let's set it up a little different this time. So arms are by your sides, palms facing in towards your legs. Inhale, reach forward and up. And then again, you could keep your arms, your shoulders distance apart, or if you're a little tighter in the shoulders, maybe you go a little wider. Spin those palms to face forward. Spread your fingers. Imagine that you're already pressing into a solid surface. And then lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Start to hinge forward. Ears land in line with the biceps. Breath smooth and steady. That inhale through your nose. That exhale through your nose. And finding all of this great space in your spine through the sides of your waist. Good, and then start to bring your gaze forward. Take one hand to your thighs, then the other. Use the strength of your arms to help you press back up. Really nice. Okay, let's move into a little hip stretching. And then we'll do a little forward folding too. I'm gonna actually just slide my chair a little bit closer. And we're gonna start on our right side. So as you know, a couple of options here. You can always just stay in this basic shape mountain pose. You could also start to externally rotate that right leg. So you're walking the leg off to the right, and you're just going to that place that feels good in your body where you start to get a stretch. You can be feeling that on the outer right hip. Also in this variation, I tend to get a stretch on the inseam of the leg. You do want to make sure that your right knee is over your right ankle, or that your ankle is slightly ahead of your knee. So the other variation here would be to cross your right ankle above that left knee. If you do this and you have any knee sensation, go ahead and do the other variation, or see if flexing your foot, if the activating those muscles in that knee helps some of that tension to release. And we're just going to hang out here for a moment and simmer in this. You might be taking your right hand, pressing down on that thigh if it feels like you need a little more. Conversely, if you're in those warrior two legs, you could be pressing back. Hips get really tight, so often we don't even need those little tweaks and adjustments. Before we come into our forward fold, let's take a little twist here. So release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, take the arms out wide. And then exhale, you're going to twist to the right. And again, depending upon what configuration you're in, grab a piece of chair behind you. This left hand could be anywhere on your left shin, left thigh. Not left shin, right shin actually. Might come to the outside of your right thigh. If you're doing the warrior two legs, it's probably going to be somewhere on that left leg. Can you press your shoulder heads back? Can you think a little cobra pose in the upper body? So that lift of the sternum up towards the ceiling. And then listen to your breath again. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, unwind yourself, come back to center here. And then we're gonna do little forward fold. And I'm gonna give you options actually. So depending upon the flexibility in your hips, you might start to hinge forward. You could rest your hands anywhere on your legs. Some of us might use those blocks, fingertips on blocks. I'm gonna actually not go as deep today, but I'm gonna use my chair. I'm gonna make a little pillow with my forearms, and then I'm just gonna rest my forehead there. So it's going to be almost more like a yin forward fold, or even like a restorative forward fold. And certainly we are still getting like a deeper stretch as we start to forward fold in this hip opener. But if you are choosing to rest your forehead on something, maybe you can kind of telescope the sides of your waist a little longer. And then really listen to your breath. Let it be soothing and calming. All right, so from here, slowly start to lift your head. You might just want to take a breath or two. Again, that's a pretty deep forward fold, so you can get a little head rush. Good, and then you can press on up. And we will take the second side. So if your leg is out in that warrior two variation, just come back to your Tadasana, uncross. Good, and then let's take our second side. So either crossing your left ankle above your right thigh, or finding that hip opening. And we just take a few breaths here in this initial stage. And you're noticing how this side feels different in your body as compared to the other side. Giving yourself a little adjustment if you need a little more. So either pressing this left thigh back or down if you're in the seated pigeon pose version. Good, so let's find our twist here. Release your arms down. As you inhale, take them out nice and wide. And then you're going to exhale, twist to the left. And then just releasing hands down wherever feels good in your body. This side might look different. You're feeling that lift of your sternum as your shoulder heads press back. You're wrapping your right ribs to the left. When we're deep, inhale. Exhale, come back to center. And then we're going to find a version of forward fold here. So again, you're welcome to sort of go a little deeper if that feels good to you. We are holding this a while. So if you are interested in that more like restorative version, again, just using your chair or your table, folding your arms and making a little pillow for your forehead. So always really nice and calming to have the forehead resting on something. As you're breathing here, especially in your inhale, find length through the sides of your waist. Good. So inhale, just moving nice and slow. Start to upright yourself. Again, that big forward fold. It's kind of like doing an inversion, so you can feel a little lightheaded coming out of this. So definitely take your time here. Good. And then let's just make our way back to our Tadasana pose. And close your eyes again. And just take a few really good breaths here. Get really internal. And just notice how you're feeling. All right, and then blinking your eyes open, let's move into a little breath work together. I'm going to Santa Monica tomorrow for a few days to apartment and kitty sit for friends. So this makes me think of the ocean, which I'm going to get to see, and I'm very excited. So let's do a little of our wave breath today. So finding your nice comfortable seat. Good, and as you know, with our wave breath, we kind of sip in some air, and then each breath is a little bit deeper. It's like sets of waves coming in. So you can just kind of visualize that. You can imagine that you're sitting on a beach, a warm beach somewhere right now. And you're listening to the sound of the water and the breeze. You can feel the sunshine and the air on your skin. And you can smell the salt. Good, so let's take a nice deep inhale here, fill up. And then completely exhale, empty out. Good, sip in a little air and let it go. And so slightly more. And exhale. And that third wave is coming in, so inhale a little deeper still. And let the breath go through your nose. Fourth wave's coming in, so inhale, fill up a little more. Let it go. All right, and then biggest wave is making its way to shore, so inhale, fill up. Exhale, let it go. And then just take a few rounds of normal breath. And just kind of regrouping. Good. So empty out on your next exhale. This next set of waves are coming in. So inhale a little, let it go. Inhale a little more. And exhale. Inhale, you're about halfway there. Exhale the breath out through your nose. Inhale, a little more still. Exhale, let it go. Once again, that biggest wave is rolling in, so fill up all the way. Empty out completely. And just find a few rounds of normal, easy breath. Okay, so I invite you to do a couple more rounds of that just on your own. Just a few normal recovery breaths between each of those sets. And when you're done with that second round, there's certainly no rush to finish up. You're just moving towards some sort of shavasana. So you're probably staying exactly where you are, but there's a sense of surrender. You're inviting the body and breath, or rather the brain, to assimilate the work that the body and breath have done. And giving yourself permission to rest, to soak up these final moments of our class together. Kind of a bookend before we segue back into our lives, the rest of the day ahead. Nasato masatgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Let your next inhale be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go ha. And then just start to bring a little gentle movement back to your body. Wiggle fingers, toes, circle ankles, wrists, stretch out. So any movement that feels kind of good and intuitive here. And just bringing your awareness back to your body, back to the space, the room that you're in. You'll eventually land with your hands in a pile on top of your heart, sending yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort, sending your body love and gratitude. It's a gift to be able to work like this and move like this. And of course, we always send each other gratitude and love for the support in the community. Just promise yourself you're going to carry this good feeling with you into the rest of the day, the week, the weekend ahead. And finally, just bow your head with a smile. Thank you so much. Great to see everybody.